The 80th Training Command is a formation of the United States Army Reserve. During World War I and World War II, the unit was designated the 80th Infantry Division. Nicknamed the Blue Ridge Division, it was initially composed of draftees from the mid-Atlantic states of Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania and Maryland. From 1946 to 1952, the 80th Division was redesignated the 80th Airborne Division. In May 1952, it was designated Reserve Infantry Division and a Reserve Training Division in March 1959. In 1994, the division was granted the designation 80th Division. On 1 October 2008, the division underwent a major transformation and is now the 80th Training Command. World War I. Activated September 1917. Overseas June 1918. Major operations: First Battle of the Somme, Musagon, Battle of St. Mihiel. Casualties total -6,029. Commanders: Brig. Gen. Herman Hall, Marge. Gen. Adalbert Cronkite, Brig. Gen. L. M. Brett, Brig. Gen. W. P. Richardson, Brig. Gen. Charles S. Farnsworth, Brig. Gen. L. M. Brett, Marge. Gen. Adalbert Cronkite, Marge. Gen. S. D. Sturgis, and activated May 1919. History. Because of significant common heritage in the past, residents of Pennsylvania, Virginia and West Virginia became the structure of the 80th Division. The 80th Division was organized in August 1917 at Camp Lee, Virginia. The units were made up mostly of men from the above three states. Units. The 317th Infantry included men from the Piedmont and Western Virginia areas. The 318th Infantry was made up mostly of men from the Shenandoah Valley and Tidewater areas. The 313th Machine Gun Battalion were mostly men from the Erie area. These units comprised the 159th Brigade. The 318th Infantry were nicknamed *Squirrels* while training with the British in the Artois, Picardy section of France. 1st Battalion were Red Squirrels, 2nd Battalion were Grey Squirrels, 3rd Battalion were called Flying Squirrels. The insignia of the 318th was a square. The machine gun unit colored the square red and blue. The 319th Infantry included men from Allegheny County and from that area north to Erie, and some from eastern Ohio. The 320th Infantry were mostly men from Pittsburgh. The 315th Machine Gun Battalion were men from Pittsburgh and Erie. These units combined to create the 160th Brigade. The 313th, 314th and 315th Field Artillery units were composed of men almost exclusively from the state of West Virginia, and were the 155th Field Artillery Brigade. Serving with the division were the 314th Machine Gun Battalion, men from the Tidewater area, as well as the 305th Engineers, men from an area east and north of Pittsburgh. The 305th Trains were men from Western PA, West Virginia and VA. The Engineers were more often than not sent out to head. During the rest period from the 14th of October through the armistice, they finally were outfitted with U.S. Springfield and Browning automatic rifles. They had 2 weeks to train before the third and final push began in the Musagon. It was also during this period that an attack formation was reorganized to allow for more maneuverability. Musagon. The 155th Field Artillery Regiment was in combat from the start of the Musagon, continuously with the 80th Division, but served also with the 90th Division into Germany, until after the armistice. Altogether, the 155th served with 5 different divisions. During the Muzagon campaign, the 80th Division was the only one that saw action during each phase of the offensive, and they first earned their motto, "The 80th Division moves only forward." The artillery of the division boasted more days of continuous combat firing than the batteries of any other American division. The 80th captured 2 Germans and 1 machine gun for every man wounded and 1 piece of artillery with gun crew for every 10 men wounded. Men of the 80th Division received 619 awards and decorations. Helmet insignias. Previously announced, the distinctive symbols of the various units of the division were declared official on April 30, 1918. For the 4 infantry regiments, in their order beginning with the 317th Infantry, they were a diamond, square, circle, and semicircle. The symbol of each unit's headquarters company was colored red, white and blue, that of the supply company red and white, that of the machine gun company red and blue. The battalion symbols were colored in red, white, blue in numerical order. The 3 machine gun battalions were identified with a shield, blue and white, red and blue, in order, beginning with the 313th M.G.B.N. Other units of the command were assigned equally distinctive symbols, thereby enabling property and individuals immediately identified by the markings required on the packing cases, wagons, helmets and other property articles. All artillery units wear the gun sight on the helmets. It referenced the 313th FA and 314th A, with 2 blocks at approximately 45 degrees and 270 degrees. The 315th A was 155 mm and their gun sight emblem was a variation of this emblem. It contained the infantry colors in the 4 quadrants. In the center, there was a star and a battery letter was in the center of the star. The engineer units were identified by spades on the helmets, white and red for the headquarters company, red for the 1st Battalion, white for the 2nd Battalion. World War II. Activated the 15th of July 1942. Overseas the 1st of July 1944. Campaigns: Northern France, Rhineland, Ardennes, Alsace, Central Europe. Days of combat: 239. Distinguished Unit Citations: 6. Awards: Medal of Honor 4, Distinguished Service Cross -34, Distinguished Service Medal -1, Silver Star 771, LM12, DFC 5, EDM 35, BSM -3869, AM 123. Commanders: Marge, Gen. Joseph D. Patch, Marge, Gen. Horace L. McBride, Marge, Gen. Walter F. Lauer. Returned to U.S. the 3rd of January 1946, and activated the 5th of January 1946. Combat Chronicle on the 5th of August 1944, the 80th landed at Utah Beach. The division was destined to become the workhorse of General Patton's Third Army and to play a key role in the famed Third Army breakthrough at Avranches. The division then attacked Argentan, taking it the 20th of August and creating the Falaise Pocket. After mopping up in the area, the 80th took part in the Third Army dash across France, cutting through Saint-Mihiel, Chalons, and Commercy in pursuit of the retreating Germans until stopped by the lack of gasoline and other supplies at the River Seine. For the 25th of September to the 7th of November, the division maintained an aggressive defensive positions west of the Say, and prepared for the Third Army sweep into the industrially vital Saar Basin. The attack jumped off on the 8th of November, the 80th advancing through Delm Ridge, Falkmont, and St. Avold to within 5 miles of Saarbrücken, when it was relieved by the 6th Armored Division, the 7th of December 1944. Battle of the Bulge. After 10 days' rest, the division returned to combat, moving southeast to take part in an attack on the Siegfried Line at Zweibrücken when the Germans launched the winter offensive in the Ardennes. The 80th was moved northward to Luxembourg and was hurled against the German salient, fighting at Luxembourg and Bastogne. By Christmas Day, men of the 80th were side by side with the tanks of the 4th Armored Division, battering forward through murderous opposition to help the 101st Airborne Division, besieged in Bastogne. Over frozen, snow-covered terrain, the attack gained 9 bitter miles despite constant machine gun and mortar fire. The next day, the gap between the rescuers and the besieged was narrowed to 4,000 yards. On the 28th of December, the 80th broke through, bringing relief to the 101st before driving the enemy across the Schur to Dahl and Gosdorf, the 7th of January 1945, and across the Klurf and Wiltz rivers by the 23rd of January. On the 7th of February 1945, the division stormed across the Aur and Sauer rivers at Wallendorf, broke through the Siegfried Line, pursued the fleeing enemy to Kaiserslautern, the 20th of March, and crossed the Rhine. 27-28 marched near Mainz. Pursuit continued in April, the division defeating the German defenders at Kassel, driving rapidly to Erfurt on the 12th, and Weimar, Jena, and Gera on the 14th. Relieved the 21st of April, it moved to Nuremberg for occupation duty and on the 28th of April to Regensburg, then to the Enns River, battling to the very end. It has been alleged that the last shot fired on the Western Front was in Czechoslovakia by the 80th, the last of General Patton's divisions still in action. General Patton issued his ceasefire order at 0800 on the 8th of May 1945. By VE Day, the 80th Division had amassed 289 days of combat and had captured more than 200,000 enemy soldiers. Assignments in European Theatre of Operations: the 1st of August 1944, 12th Corps, 3rd Army, 12th Army Group. The 7th of August 1944, 20th Corps. The 8th of August 1944, 15th Corps. The 10th of August 1941, 20th Corps. The 17th of August 1944, 3rd Army, 12th Army Group, but attached to the 5th Corps, 1st Army, 12th Army Group. The 28th of August 1944, 3rd Army, 12th Army Group. The 26th of August 1944, 12th Corps. The 19th of December 1944, 3rd Corps. The 26th of December 1944, 12th Corps. The 10th of March 1945, 20th Corps. Cold War. The division was inactivated in January 1946, but reactivated in December of that year as the 80th Airborne Division. Since then, the division has been reorganized several times. As an airborne division, it became one of 24 organized Reserve Corps divisions. In 1952, it was reorganized as the 80th Infantry Division and remained as such for 7 years. In March 1959, it was reorganized as the 80th Division, with a primary focus of providing initial entry training to trainees at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and Fort Jackson, South Carolina, a mission and structure that lasted for many years. In 1988 and 1990, the division carried out 10-week exercises for wartime mobilization missions named Old Dominion Forward at Fort Bragg, setting up training for nearly 700 new soldiers. Persian Gulf War. Units from the 80th Division were activated in support of Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm. 2 80th Division units were called to active duty in support of Operation Desert Shield Storm. The 424th Transportation Company of Galax, Virginia, was activated the 17th of November 1990. After training and equipping at Fort Eustis, Virginia, it deployed to Saudi Arabia the 5th of January 1991. For its service in the war, the company was awarded a Meritorious Unit Commendation. Citation reading, under adverse conditions in a combat zone, logging over 850,000 accident-free road miles in the countries of Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Iraq. By the end of the war, elements of the 424th had advanced as far as the Euphrates River in support of coalition assault units. The 424th returned to the United States on 29–30 June 1991, and to home station 3 July. Soldiers of the 3rd Battalion, 318th Regiment, 4th Brigade, at Fort Story, Virginia, were activated the 23rd of January 1991, and reported to Fort Eustis to train recalled reservists. Because of the short duration of the ground war in Iraq and Kuwait, additional individual ready reserve troops were not called up, and the 3rd Battalion was released from active duty and returned to home station 17 March. New Training Reorganization. In 1992, the division began a training base expansion mission at Fort Benning, Georgia. The mission changed to professional roundout training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, the following year, when reservists worked with active duty Army drill sergeants in training new soldiers. October 1994 marked the fourth major reorganization since World War II, when it became headquarters 80th Division. Maintaining the initial entry mission, it expanded to provide the Army School System, or TAS mission. The 80th took command and control of 10 Army Reserve Forces schools, and along with legacy divisions from World War II became one of 7 institutional training divisions, located in 7 regions throughout the U.S. The 80th Division provided instructions for units in Region B, which included Virginia, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, the District of Columbia, and Delaware. 7 brigades of the 80th Division carried out specific training missions in the above states and proceeded to Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, to support expansion of the U.S. Army Training Center and to conduct basic combat training, one-station unit training and other specialized training, as directed by Training and Doctrine Command. Global War on Terrorism, Operation Noble Eagle. After the 11th of September 2001, specialized training commenced with drill sergeant and instructor units mobilized to training posts in the U.S. Operation Enduring Freedom. In 2004, 80th Division units provided training and reconstruction support to the Afghanistan government. Operation Iraqi Freedom. In 2005, in support, the 80th Division mobilized and deployed to Iraq in support of the largest activation of the division's soldiers since World War II, serving in every specialty and skill as a part of the Multinational Security Transition Command Iraq. 2 soldiers were killed in action and 2 others died stateside while mobilized during this conflict. So far, 80th Division soldiers have earned more than 1,144 medals and citations, including 31 Purple Hearts, 2 Bronze Stars with Combat V, 467 Bronze Stars, 84 Combat Infantryman Badges and 187 Combat Action Badges. The unit continues to support the global war on terrorism with individual and group deployments to the theater of operations as required. 80th Training Command. On 1 October 2008, the 80th Division transformed to become the 80th Training Command. It expanded from the 5 states to reach across the entire country. Of the 790 divisions, only 3 remained, with the 80th taking command of the entire task mission for the Army Reserve. The 80th expanded from 8 brigades and 12 battalions to 3 divisions, 13 brigades, 63 battalions, and 14 training centers. The 80th is the third largest command organization in the U.S. Army Reserve, made up of over 7,300 Army Reserve soldiers assigned to 15 brigade units aligned under 3 major subordinate one-star commands, with units located nationwide, from Pennsylvania to Puerto Rico and from the Carolinas and Georgia to California. It has an operational control training relationship with a unit in Hawaii and a support relationship with a unit in Germany. The command's annual economic impact is about $40–60 million. In addition to the salaries of full-time civilian and military personnel, this figure also includes pay to Army Reserve soldiers, money spent locally for the purchase of supplies, services, maintenance, support, equipment, facility construction and renovation, and the G.I. Bill college tuition payments to Army Reserve soldiers attending school. The 80th trains Army soldiers in the career military fields for combat support and combat service support. The 94th Training Division headquarters is located at Fort Lee, Virginia, and became fully mission-capable in October 2009. The 100th Training Division has its headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky, and will soon relocate to Fort Knox. The 102nd Training Division headquarters is located at Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, and also became fully mission-capable in October 2009. Commanders: World War I Major General Adelbert Cronkite, Brigadier General Lloyd M. Brett, Major General Samuel D. Sturgis, World War II Major General Walter E. Lauer, Major General Joseph D. Patch, Major General Horace L. McBride, Cold War Major General James B. Kress, Major General William M. Stokes, Jr., Major General Morgan M. Wallace, Major General Frederick H. Garber III, Brigadier General Charles B. Dean, Major General Willard P. Milby, Jr., Major General Lewis H. Ginn, Major General John P. Henderson, Major General John W. Knapp, Persian Gulf War Major General Stephen H. Sewell, Jr., Major General Max Guggenheimer, Jr., Major General James P. Browder, Jr., Global War on Terrorism Major General Douglas O. Dollar, Major General David L. Evans, Major General John P. McLaren, Jr., General Information, nickname Blue Ridge, Thundering Herd, slogan Only Moves Forward, shoulder patch, white-bordered shield of green upon which are superimposed 3 azure blue mountain peaks.